I refused to. I wanted to have the surprise because if I had read it, as you can see and you can imagine, I would have intervened on 5, 6 different points to say, no, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I suppose at a moment like this, we try to explain and make sense of our lives and explain to loved ones and cherished ones how we view events that happen to us. And I'll begin with a true story, since it started with my grandfather. This was in 1963, after he abdicated. I'm telling you this story. It started with my grandfather's mother because it goes then into explaining a few things. So when he left for Azare, women came to his mother's house and they were all crying and crying, and she got tired. And at one point she said, anyone who was coming to cry should not enter her house. And people were wondering why, and she never cried. A new emir was appointed. After 6 months, the emir died. My father and his brothers came to her to give their condolences and said they were going to Azare to give condolences to their father on the death of his uncle. And this was the story. She called them back. She said, when your father left the throne, people were crying. And I told them not to cry. And people wondered why. Today, you are sons of an emir, you're going to Azare to see your father, he's alive. An emir has just died. His children will never see him again. Do you now agree that when the time came to leave the throne, that God was kind to you when he left your father with his life, with his health? Would you rather your father today was in his grave? Now, this was a woman who understood that too often in life, what we take as tragedies are great blessings. Too often in life, we look at the negative side of things and ignore the hundreds and thousands of positive sides to things. An American philosopher, Martha Nussbaum, has written a number of books on Greek philosophy. And one of the central themes you find with Hellenistic philosophy is the recognition that all the things that we see as important to human flourishing are in fact temporary. And they're fragile. The son that you love can be taken away from you. The wealth that you have, you can always lose. Any position that you have is temporary. You either leave it or it's taken away from you. If it's not taken away from you, no matter how long you stay there, you will die and you will leave it. So it makes no sense to hold on to anything that is transient. I hold on to that which I have control over and which I think is permanent. My faith in God, my ethics, my principles, my integrity. If I ever had to make a choice between sacrificing my principles and holding on to a position, I would give up the position. So I do not want to go into any specific comments, other than to say that history is always the best judge. The things that I said would happen that caused me so much trouble have happened. The country is where we said it would be if we did not change. Maybe people will be sensible enough one day to say that this man told us the truth. Maybe they won't, but it won't change the reality. For me, I have absolutely no regrets. And I will continue to speak. I will continue to voice my views. I will continue to defend this country, and nothing will change. So, people ask me, what do I feel about what happened? Or what do I feel about leaving the throne? And I say that question itself comes from a position that is not mine. I never think of myself as having been taken away from anything.
Aww. So cute.
Okay, so I never think of myself as someone from whom anything is taken. I think of myself as someone to whom a lot has been given. To have the honor of being Emir for 6 years was a gift from God. I see that as a gift, and I continue to be happy and thankful and grateful. I don't see that he took anything away from me that was mine, so I have no grief and I have no sadness.
Alhamdulillah.
I turned 61 last year, and in those years I've had the honor of having been Chief Risk Officer in UBA, Chief Risk Officer in First Bank, Governor of the Central Bank, Emir of Kano, Khalifa of Tanzania. If I have sadness, then I'm ungrateful.
Yeah.
How many people have the opportunity to be just one of those things?
Very few.
Just to be a bank MD, or to be the governor of a central bank, or to be the emir, or to be the khalifa. To have had all of that in one lifetime, and I have not even finished. You have nothing but gratitude and joy. So, Duke of Shomolu, I'm touched naturally. It's normal to. These people are not going to let me speak. So I thank Duke of Shomolu for putting this up. As I said, I didn't read the script and they didn't interview me. I don't know where they did their research. But it's important, I think, as we have these events to share these experiences. At the end of the day, we are who we are. If we allow positions to change us, I've said it before, if you're an alien and you cannot speak because you're afraid that the government will remove you, you are a slave wearing a turban.
That's true.
And we, traditional rulers that are probably looked at by politicians as being subordinate to them, I think we will forbid for insubordination. It would help for politicians to look at us and ask what we have contributed as well to this country. We didn't just drop from the sky.
That's true.
You serve as a CEO of a bank. You serve as the governor of a central bank. And someone thinks because he's a governor or president, you can't tell him the truth. If I wanted to be the president of Nigeria, I would be one.
Woo!
If I wanted to be the governor, I would be one. I choose to follow the path of my parents. But that doesn't make me a lower person. And it doesn't make me subservient to anyone.
Never.
So, insubordination, yeah. We're insubordinate. We are not subordinate. And you look at all the areas in this country. Some were former generals, some were former governors, some were justices of the Supreme Court, some were permanent secretaries. You've got treasurers who were directors general of controllers of customs. We gave our bit. We served this country. I mean, on what basis do I feel intimidated by a politician when it comes to Nigeria? On what basis?
As in.
And it's not just me. I mean, we have a long history of service to this country. I tell people, my father, in 1960, my father set up the Nigerian Intelligence Services. He's the first DG of NIA. Go there, you'll see his picture, you'll see the road. So before you tell me to be subordinate to you, show me your record and show me your father's record. Our grandparents, our great-grandparents gave their lives to build this country.
That's true.
We will devote our lives to building this country. It does not belong to anyone. It belongs to all of us. And if anyone ever thought that political power would keep me quiet, the question is to them, have I kept quiet?
No.